Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Cigaroa, would you sit down, please? What a happy day for the University of Texas Health Science Center and the acclaimed School of Dentistry here on the campus. Welcome to everyone. We have been anticipating this day for the longest time, the day we dedicate the Center for Oral Health Care and Research. Many in this audience have contributed much to the successful arrival of this day, especially the School of Dentistry students and faculty. This building will serve as their new home for the clinical care programs for the thousands of patients who will be seen here every year. As many of you are well aware, our original clinical facility housed on the long campus was more than 40 years old, about 45 years old, replete with all of the charms of an old building: fire hazards, leaky roofs, and other dangers. Today, we're proud to begin a new chapter in the School of Dentistry's distinguished life. Now, within the walls of this ultra-modern clinical facility, the Health Science Center will bring improved education and improved patient care. The facility will allow our faculty, residents, and students to provide care in a technologically advanced setting second to none. It'll also allow clinical investigators to conduct important clinical trials, which will drive the future of oral health care. The new Center for Oral Health Care and Research will enable the dental school to sustain its top-tier ranking among all of its peers in the United States. Also, very importantly, in just a few weeks, the building will be physically joined to the Medical Arts and Research Center, the next building down the hill, known as the MARC, and that is the home of the UT Medicine clinical practice, home to 700 specialty physicians and general physicians who provide care to over 250,000 patients a year. So this unique joining of these two buildings, oral health care and general health care, symbolizes in many ways, tangible and intangible, the importance of oral health care to general health care in ways that other campuses cannot provide. Now, as you can see from the program, you'll have an opportunity to tour the center and enjoy a reception following the conclusion of our program, and I hope you'll take advantage of that. I'll try to keep the program as brief as possible because it's a little warm out here. Just be glad that what usually happens in dental school events has not happened today. And that is, usually there's a biblical rain involved. Several injuries usually occur, so we're very happy that today we have sunshine and breezy weather. So let me introduce our first set of guests on the platform as a group and ask them to stand and stay standing until I have finished the introductions. First is Honorable Jose Menendez, State Senator, District 26. And I love Jose Menendez, but you're not supposed to applaud right then. We're going to try this several times, and let's see if we can. Well, I don't care if you applaud or not. I mean, it never works to do this. Regent Alex Cranberg of the University of Texas System Board of Regents. Dr. David Daniel, Deputy Chancellor of the University of Texas System, representing the University of Texas System Chancellor William McRaven. Dr. Bill Dodge, the Distinguished Dean of the School of Dentistry. Mr. Ray Carvajal, Chairman of the San Antonio Medical Foundation, upon whose land this building is erected. And last, Elan Lee, Senior Class President of the School of Dentistry. Thank you all. Thank you. You may be seated. Now, there are two other key individuals on the stage I want to particularly recognize. First, Dr. Francisco Cigaroa, former president of the University of Texas Health Science Center and chancellor of the University of Texas System. Stay standing, stay standing. And Mr. Gene Powell, former chairman of the UT System Board of Regents. Dr. Cigaroa is currently professor and director of pediatric transplantation surgery and holder of the Ashbel Smith Professorship in Surgery, and Mr. Powell is CEO of bitter blue. Now, while they're standing, I want to point out something to you. When this building came into the radar screen as being a possibility, there were two key individuals without whose help we would not be sitting and standing here today. We would not be enjoying this new building, and those two gentlemen are to my right. When I called first Chancellor Cigarroa and then Chairman Powell about this, I pointed out the decrepit nature of some of the hallways in the old building, and he said, you know, we've sent a lot of money to San Antonio, Bill, and this doesn't look really promising. I said, well, how about if I send you some pictures? So Mike Black and I took a bunch of pictures of the place. We put a lot of walkers and wheelchairs in the hallways. Gene was impressed, and then he had a brilliant idea. He said, why don't you invite the head of the Regents Facilities Planning Group to come to San Antonio and see it? So we had this person come. Prentice Gary came to San Antonio. We gave him a tour. In 5 minutes, Regent Gary said, you need a new building, badly. It was the brilliance of Gene, the help of the Chancellor and the Board of Regents that allowed this building to go forward. Their financing made this all possible. We owe these two gentlemen a big round of applause. Thank you both. Now, there's another large group of people here. I'm warning you ahead of time. I'm going to announce as a group and ask them to stand and stay standing until I've completed the whole group. If you want to interrupt my list of doing this, then please feel free to do so. But this is a longer list, so I'm just warning everybody. First, Dr. Ken Kalkorff, Dean Emeritus, longstanding Dean of the School of Dentistry, who's here with his wife, Sharon. Ken was Dean of the school for 24 years. Ken and Sharon, please stand. Dr. Katsuyuki Otomo, President of Asahi University, and Dr. Jun Miyata, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Asahi and Meikei Universities. The Health Science Fair has an exchange agreement with these universities in Japan, and more than 400 students from Japan and San Antonio have participated in this exchange program. They're over here to my left. Thank you both for coming. Dr. John Valenza, Dean of the UT Health Science Center, Houston School of Dentistry. Where's John? Is he here? John, thank you for being here. Kathy Cranberg is here, wife of Regent Alex Cranberg, as along with Jill Dodge, the wife of the Dean, the First Lady of the School of Dentistry. And then another group of important individuals, Jim Reed, who's the president of the San Antonio Medical Foundation, Jim Larry Schnook, the vice president and senior design principal from Collar Slater, Bill Reeves and Steve Souter, partners from Marmon Mock Architecture, Tom Vaughn, the CEO, Vaughn Construction Company, Badel Balderas, president of the Hispanic Dental Association, Roger Campos, president of the San Antonio District Dental Society, Sam Joaquim, president of the Health Science Center School of Dentistry Alumni Association, Julie Rager, president of the Alliance to the San Antonio District Dental Society, Mike Black, senior executive vice president and chief operating officer, and Jim Kazin, executive vice president for facilities and planning and operations. Let's give all of these important people a round of applause. Now, the generosity of philanthropists has been key in making the financial goals which have allowed us to create this magnificent structure. Almost $3 million has been raised in private funds, mostly from the support of alumni of the school. Many philanthropists are mentioned in your program, and I invite you to please pay homage to them by looking at their names and thanking them if you see them. One particular philanthropist who has helped us enormously in this project is Dr. Jeff Feingold, who's joined today by his wife Barbara. They've come all the way from Florida to be part of our celebration today, and we are delighted to have them here. Here's an out-of-state group of people who have helped us tremendously with this building. Barbara, Jeff, thank you. And finally, joining Dean Dodge today for today's special ceremony are four of our other distinguished deans. As all of you know, The Health Science Center is comprised of 5 distinguished schools, and we emphasize interdisciplinary, interprofessional education, interdisciplinary care in conducting our work here. So all of the deans of these other schools, each of them is privileged to be here today, I know, and celebrates with the School of Dentistry today. So I'd like them to stand and remain standing as a group until I call all the names. First is Eileen Breslin, Dean of the School of Nursing, Dr. Francisco Gonzalez Scarano, Dean of the School of Medicine and head of our medical faculty practice plan called UT Medicine, Dr. David Shellady, Dean of the School of Health Professions, and Dr. David Weiss, Dean of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. Big round of applause for our fantastic Dean. Two more groups, both of which are essential. The first is that the engine of the school, the quality of the school, all pivots on the quality of the faculty. You could have magnificent buildings like this, but unless it is populated by a faculty which is dedicated to education and clinical care and research, it will be for naught. And in this regard, the University of Texas School of Dentistry, San Antonio, is very distinguished. The faculty are among the finest in the nation, and they're scattered throughout this audience here today. So I think it would be very appropriate if we recognize them. I'd like all the members of the faculty to please stand so that we can acknowledge your presence and thank you for your service. Now, one other group that is the last constituency to be mentioned today from this podium, is there's going to be a center of learning for our dental students and residents. And I'd like in that regard, all of our dental students here present, all of our dental hygiene students here present, interns, residents, and fellows who are with us today, please stand. This is your building, and we are proud to give it to you today. Please stand. They're all throughout here. There they are. Now, to tell us more about the building and the unique features of it, I'm proud to call upon Bill Dodge, Dean of the school. Dr. Dodge joined the Health Science Center in 1978 and has worked through both the clinical and administrative ranks as a leader here. He's a leader in dentistry on the national level, very well respected by his peers. In addition to his tireless work on many fronts, he has run a marathon in under 3 hours, a necessary skill for a job that he has. For the past 2 years, he's led the school as dean, and I applaud him for his efforts in keeping our School of Dentistry highly competitive and one of the top-ranked schools in the nation. I also compliment him for simultaneously undertaking this important, massive project of building the new school building, the newest jewel in the crown of the South Texas Medical Center. So please welcome to the podium, Dr. Bill Dodge.
Well, thank you. And it is a different day than we had at the groundbreaking. I think the outcome may be the same. We got wet then, we're probably wet right now. So in deference to the heat and humidity, I think we all will try to keep our comments as short as possible. But I do have some comments that I would like to make. You know, before we began the program, about 30 to 45 minutes before, the tent was empty. And I turned to Dr. Henrich and I said, do you ever worry that maybe nobody's going to show up? And he said, if they don't, they don't. What can you do about it? But I can tell you it's obvious to me that dentists show up. And thank you all so much for being here with us. We've got, if you will, our internal family, our friends, our supporters, and we're so pleased that you could be with us. Among the guests, we have some from the early years of our school. Lamar May was going to be here. I don't know if Lamar made it. Lamar, thank you. Lamar was a graduate of the first class in 1974, and if you hearken back, those of you that were students in that vintage, the old building, as we refer to it, was really state-of-the-art. And coming from where I came from, and having done my clinical training in what was an antiquated building, I was envious of what San Antonio had. But since then, a lot of things have changed, as Dr. Henrich has pointed out. You probably could say, in fact, not much has stayed the same. Certainly the delivery of health care has changed, and we know that dental education and dental care has changed incredibly in the last couple of decades. And we realized that in the facility that we were currently abiding, we weren't going to be able to keep up with the changes and continue to offer the quality clinical training programs that were so important to us and allow them to flourish and allow us to move forward in a building that is in sync with the world as we know it. So we collectively as a school, as the leadership of the school under Ken's guidance at that time, decided a new facility was in order, and guess what? With the help of all of you, we did it. And this building that you all will see later is absolutely magnificent, and I'm glad you're here and we'll have the chance to take a look at it. I know our current students and our faculty, who you see, some on the stage and some that are joined us in the audience, have the same sense of excitement and urgency that I do, and will take advantage of this wonderful facility and the opportunity laying before them. This clinic, all 198,000 square feet of it, represents the future of dental education for us, and it's already become a catalyst for change and progress on our campus. It's got ample space, it's got well-coordinated clinics, it's got natural lighting that we were much lacking in the former building, and it really creates a wonderful environment for our patients, for our faculty, our students, and our staff to treat patients and continue our mission of clinical care education and clinical research. We believe, I believe, and in deference to my colleague from Houston who is here, that this center positions us to become a leader in multidisciplinary healthcare in South Texas, and we see that as our goal. There are many, many people that are responsible for us being here today, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge some of them. Some will be some of the same individuals that Dr. Henrich mentioned, and others will be different, and I will ask you, we will see if they follow my directions better than they followed yours, to hold your applause until I have named them all. The first is the late Dr. James P. Hollers, who was a visionary dental and civic leader in San Antonio and in the state of Texas, and in fact, nationally. Dr. Hollers lobbied vigorously to get the School of Dentistry placed here in San Antonio. And in fact, you could say that none of this would have taken place were it not for Dr. Hollers. We wouldn't be here were it not for him. And it is in his honor that we have named the street to your left, my right, the James P. Hollers Drive. And we are pleased to have with us his daughter, Mrs. Mary Carolyn Hollers George, who has joined us to celebrate with us. Next is my good friend, who I've mentioned, our former dean, Dr. Ken Kalkworth. Ken saw the need for this building before most of us did. He was able to persuade in ways that I'm not sure how, our former president and chancellor, Dr. Francisco Figueroa, that we really had a need for this building, and convinced him to get on board and support us. And for the two of you, I'm especially grateful, and I think we all are grateful for what you've done. And of course, my current boss, our president, Dr. Bill Henrich, who has never wavered in his support for this undertaking, nor for our School of Dentistry. And he has been one of our biggest cheerleaders, I can assure you of that. Bill, thank you so much for all that you have done. Special thanks to, or due to, the silent man, if you will, Mr. Jim Kazin, our vice president for planning, facilities, and operations. Jim has the unique knack of operating behind the scenes to get things done and has been an invaluable supporter to us. And Jim, we are really, I don't know where you are, he's behind the scenes right now. But thank you so much for all that you have done. And last, but certainly not least, is the person that probably was the target of spears that have been thrown recently as we've made this transition to the new building, and that's Dr. Gary Guest, our Associate Dean for Patient Care. Gary was handed this project midstream and worked absolutely tirelessly. I got emails from him all times of the day to bring this building to life. And Gary has done an absolutely outstanding job. Gary, I don't know where you are, but I can never repay you. So thank you. Finally, we all know that nothing like this gets done without the help of our community, our friends, and our alumni, as Dr. Henrich has noted. Many of our generous contributors have joined us today, including Dr. Feingold, his wife Barbara, and their family who came all the way from Florida. And in fact, we have a number of other individuals that have come from across the country to be with us as we celebrate this momentous day. Among them are Ron and Betsy Vernetti. Those of you that have been here for some time remember that Ron's father, Dr. Jim Vernetti, was a revered member of our early faculty, and we're pleased to have them with us. Dr. Harris Siegel and Skip Dolt, who have joined us from Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. Dolt is an alum, class of 1993, and both Drs. Dolt and Siegel completed advanced dental training here in 1994. And Dr. Sharon Turner as well, and her husband, Dr. Ray Dion, have come from North Carolina. They have all made significant contributions to make sure that this building could be all that it could be. But the prize for coming the furthest goes to our good friends from Japan, who Dr. Henrich introduced earlier, Dr. Yatsuki Otomo and Dr. Jun Miyata, who've come from Japan. We've had a long-standing, wonderful relationship with them, and we're so glad that you're here with us as well. And closer to home, we have a number of individuals who have made significant contributions and provided significant assistance to us for this new building. And again, if you would hold your applause till I get to the end of the namings. A couple of individuals, Dr. Amjad Sheikh, who is the class of 2002, along with Dr. Scott Luna and his wife Cassandra, class of 2005, really have stepped up and set the standard for alumni giving back for us and set the benchmark very high. We're indebted to you and for all that you've done, so thanks to the two of you. Ms. Marianne Clark. Marianne had to leave. Marianne was here earlier if you saw someone in one of those motorized wheelchairs. Mrs. Clark's father, Dr. Edward Isle, graduated from the University of Minnesota School of Dentistry in 1908, we think, thereabouts. Every time I ask her, the date shifts a day or a year or two. But he was an early advocate of preventive dentistry, and Mrs. Clark became a patient of our geriatric clinic and liked what we were doing and decided that she wanted to become a benefactor, primarily to keep the legacy of her father alive. And so we were so pleased that she has selected us as the institution to which she wanted to make contributions. And of course, we have in the front row Dr. Claude Neighbors and his lovely wife Blanche, who have, for as long as I can remember, have supported our School of Dentistry in so many ways. And we're just glad that you could be with her, Claude and Blanche. Thank you so much for all that you've done over the years. It's terrific. And Jim Summit's wife, Mrs. Marianne Hollingshead Summit. Marianne, are you, where might you be? She might be smart enough. Oh, thank you. Marianne is a dear friend. She's an exceptional artist. As I noted, she's the wife of Jim Summit, a member of our faculty. Marianne, who toured our building, noted that we have lots of wall space and thought our building could use a little bit of warming up. And being the exceptional person and artist that she is, she has gifted to us and loaned us a number of pieces of original artwork, both sculpture and paintings. And I hope as you tour the building, you will agree with me that they really add to the building's persona. I could not have thought of artwork that would be more in keeping with the persona of the building. So Marianne, Jim, thank you so much for those gifts. And certainly last but not least, I want to recognize my colleagues and my friends in the Department of Comprehensive Dentistry who stepped up to a $100,000 challenge that was laid out by one of their faculty members, one of their colleagues, David Cox. And I thought David was dreaming a dream, that this would never happen. But by golly, they exceeded the $100,000 target and have had a waiting room named in honor of the department. And so, David, members of the department, thank you for, if you will, stepping up and putting your money in and making an investment in our future. Thank you. Last words are, this really is a very special day for me personally. It's terrific to see this come to fruition. It's been a wonderful project to work in, and this is a day that I will long remember. And I want to thank each of you again for coming and sharing it with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. I have a surprise for you. You've created an exceptional educational experience for our students and a robust clinical practice for UT Dentistry. And as a tribute to you from your outstanding faculty and in honor of your outstanding service and inspiration to us all, I am proud to officially announce today the naming of a room in this beautiful building for you. It's the William W. Dodge DDS Recovery Room. It's located within the Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in that clinic. I think it's fitting that the faculty have decided to support Bill in this way and honor him in this way in perpetuity in this wonderful building. Congratulations, Bill. We have with us today, we are graced by the presence of several hundred dental students who have anticipated this opening, and I'm now pleased to call on Elan Lee, the senior class president, who will bring us greetings on behalf of the student body. Elan Lee.
The Center of Oral Healthcare and Research is more to me and my classmates than just a clinical facility. Over 3 years ago, we stood here in the pouring rain, imagining what the new clinic would be like. We talked praises about how much more efficient patient care would become. We spoke about how the sparkling new clinic would now accompany our already outstanding reputation. But now think of us, the students, 3 years ago. We were told that we'd be in the new clinic for graduation. Graduation? That might as well have been a million years away. We knew more about anatomy and physiology than we did about teeth back then. But today, we stand before you, like the dental school, completely transformed. Our extensive training over the last few years has prepared us for all the challenges we'll face following graduation. So to us, the new clinic represents the great strides that we've taken in becoming healthcare professionals. It's where we'll have conquered our senior year. Are we excited about it? You bet we're excited about it. Who wouldn't want to be the big man on campus in the best dental school in the country and now in the nicest facility in the country? It's like we get to test drive a Ferrari for the first time, a brand new one, and we were the first. So it's a very exciting time for all of us. The new clinic has already proven to do the things that we predicted years ago. We've got the best faculty, mentors, and now state-of-the-art equipment and clinic. So from the students at the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio, I'd like to say thank you for all those that made this possible. We look forward to continuing to make this the best dental school in the country. Thank you.
And now it's my privilege to introduce Jose Menendez, State Senator for District 26, which includes our Health Science Center. For 14 years, Senator Menendez served as State Representative from District 124. During his final session as State Representative, he was appointed Chair of the House Committee on Defense and Veterans Affairs, where he passed one of the largest mental health programs in the state's history. Earlier this year, he was elected to the Senate, where he serves on the Intergovernmental Relations, Criminal Justice, and Higher Education Committees, and passed 38 bills that benefited seniors, veterans, and San Antonio families while securing millions of dollars for the renovation of the Alamo complex. Senator, we are grateful for your support. We remember your presence at the groundbreaking in which we had to give you floaties to get out of the parking lot. We appreciate your coming back today, braving the warm weather to come back. And more than anything, in all seriousness, we are grateful to you for the champion you've been for higher education, for health-related institution education, and for our Health Science Center in particular. Please welcome Senator Jose Menendez.
Wow. You know, it's exciting to see you all here. As we were driving up, it was exciting to see the building finished. Our family doctor is in that building next door. But I want you to know that I'm proud and I'm excited, not just because I represent this medical institution in Austin, Texas. I'm excited because of the opportunities this building represents. Back in the early 70s, right after the original building was built, there was a young lady, a nurse. She had gone to nursing school who had just moved here to San Antonio, and she knew no one. She and her husband had moved here from the Valley, and they had a new child who had been born in 1969, and she needed to know where she would take him for dental services. And so she did a little research, and she heard about this new dental school. And so her first experience with a dental experience in San Antonio was at the old building. And it was because of that building that that child went on to have very few cavities and have great, excellent oral care and have a positive outlook towards dentists. And that child grew up, and when he had his own kids, decided to bring his kids to the dental school. And so that building, while it may have been old, was a place where people in San Antonio who would not know where to go, who to take their children to, where to have confidence and faith, they knew where they could go to be safe and get good dental care and take care of their kids. And you may or may not know this, but the number one reason the children miss school is because of dental care, oral care. It's one of the reasons they stay sick. And so I can tell you with this great confidence that as a former pediatric patient of the dental school and a former current patient, and my wife and our children who have attended your dental school, that I can tell you that as someone who represents many, many, many people, 850,000, many of who live in poverty, that this building, the concretes and the glass and the steel behind us, thank goodness it's beautiful, but it's more than just material things. It represents hope. It represents the ability for people of all walks of life to have the ability to have good dental care. And in my opinion, your dental care is as important as the rest of your care. So, you know, it is unbelievable. We talked a lot about the rain, but I think that it requires rain and this beautiful sunshine that we have today to create rainbows. And so I am so proud to stand here to representing you. And, you know, Dr. Heinrich, I'm proud of the fact that we were able to bring you $8 million for the Life Sciences Center. I'm also happy that we were able to get you $80 million for capital projects, but, well, thank you. But I'll tell you that what I'm more proud of is the fact that, Francisco, you may remember when I brought Celia back from the Mayo Clinic, and I talked to you about this mecca of medicine that I'd seen. And I talked to you about how all the healthcare, all in one building, attached by a bridge. And we talked about how beautiful it was, and the glass, and the vision, and the artwork. And the more I hear about what's happening behind us, the more it seems that you're creating maybe even a better Mayo Clinic in terms of the creation of healthcare. Because what happens is when you send people to many different places to get their exams and get their x-rays and get their blood work and get all these things, sometimes they just don't make it to that next place. Sometimes they just don't get there. Sometimes they get there and their appointment's not there. Sometimes the paperwork's not there. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. And what happens is when we let people down on their health care, they can't be productive citizens. And so this is an excellent use of taxpayer funds. And I'm so proud that with this total cost of $96.5 million, this 4-story state-of-the-art facility will house an all clinical training and patient care and allow the dental school to increase the number of patients that can be seen. And I have to tell you, for me, that is the most important part. The fact that you will get to see more patients. And I know that we've thanked just about everybody here and we've recognized everybody here, but I want to say two things. That the rest of you who are here, you represent the rest of San Antonio. And for our friends from out of town, from Florida and from Japan and from other places, we have a saying here in San Antonio. It's called Puro San Antonio. And that represents something that's pure San Antonio, the heart and soul of San Antonio. And this celebration, this building behind us, this audience in this room, when I see the people who take care of the facilities, the groundworks, and I see the gentleman in his military uniform, this is the combination of Military City, USA, the City of San Antonio, our medical institution, all coming together to serve our community. And the beauty of it is that it serves the people regardless of their financial ability to pay or not pay. That it serves everyone without any discrimination. That it serves people, and then doing so, these young students, as they go out into the real world and they go out and set up their own practices, that they now have the ability to have the heart to understand what it takes to serve people. And so that's the beauty of this facility. That's the beauty of the city, that's the beauty of this institution, and that's why it makes me so proud to represent UT Health Science Center in Austin, Texas. And so thank you for this day. Francisco, Jean, thank you for making this possible. Y'all were so bright in how you got it done. And so the rest of us, we just play a small role, because this building, the concrete and glass and steel behind me, would mean nothing without you in the audience. Thank you all for this opportunity. Oh. A little certificate we brought you, and I guess, Dr. Dodge, this goes to you. This is presented to the Health Science Center on your grand opening, providing the San Antonio with UT Dentistry Center for Oral Healthcare and Research, and signed the September the 10th, and we put it in a little frame here so that you can put it up wherever you think that it'd be best. We're so proud of everything you're doing here and everything you're doing to create the next generation of excellent oral healthcare professionals. Thank you, Dr. Dodge.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce Alex Cranberg, Regent of the University of Texas System. Regent Cranberg serves as chairman of both the Health Affairs Committee and the University Lands Advisory Board for the UT System Board of Regents. He is chairman of Aspect Holdings, LLC, and founded Aspect Energy, which has drilled over 500 exploration wells and made many oil and gas discoveries in Texas, Louisiana, Belize, Hungary, and Kurdistan. He's a graduate of the University of Texas at Austin and Stanford University. Regent Cranberg is active in education and philanthropy, governance, and policy advocacy, and he founded the Alliance for Choice in Education and the Horace Mann Scholarship Challenge. Regent Cranberg is an influential supporter of all UT system institutions, and we are privileged and very pleased to have him here today so he can officially help us dedicate the newest building, not only for the Health Science Center, but for the entire University of Texas system. Please welcome Alex Cranberg.
Thank you, President Henrich, and to all of your team and the folks on the dais for the outstanding leadership you've shown in making this new and needed facility a reality. I was initially told that there is no plaque yet on this building, which is entirely appropriate for a center of oral health. If I saw that there is one, it will be the only plaque our students are not allowed to remove. On behalf of the University of Texas System Board of Regents, we thank the generous donors and civic and political leaders for supporting the concept, funding, and construction of this remarkable project. It has been a collaborative community effort, and we are deeply grateful to all of you that have made this possible. The new facility became a reality thanks to the coordinated efforts of a lot of people. Among these have been the board chairman and system chancellor at the time, as you have heard, Gene Powell, and Dr. Francisco Figueroa. The Regents had understood that this dental health program is one of the best, if not the best, in the country and represented a crown jewel of the UT system. We came to realize, however, that the excellence of the program, the faculty, and the students was not necessarily supported and matched by the excellence of the physical facilities. The Board of Regents subsequently allocated quite a large commitment, $74 million, from the Oil-Fueled Permanent University Fund to support this institution. As an oil man and a non-dentist driller, I'm proud to state that fracking leads to oral health. We can now confidently stand behind excellence in all elements of this great school to continue and grow its preeminence. In this building, faculty and mentors will ultimately inspire thousands of students and lift the trajectories of so many careers and lives. I look forward to hearing about the new treatments and discoveries that will improve the overall health and quality of life for ourselves and for our future generations. Dr. Henrich, do you want to make an invitation? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Alex. Thanks very much. We're going to try and do something spectacular here as we conclude our formal program. The group on the dais is going to march out behind this group of purple-clad dental students to this parapet right behind the tent. And then a group of us on the, this is important that you pay attention to these instructions. You take Francisco with you. There are some purple streamers hanging down from the top of the building. We'd like to invite the audience to come to the parapet, and then a group of us are going to go hold on to these streamers. There's going to be a drum roll. I know this is complicated. Look at the people in the front row, they're saying, a drum roll, we're going to pull these streamers going from left to right, and a series of banners are going to unfurl, which will have a special message for the school, for the audience today here assembled. So, and then you're invited inside for refreshments and some air conditioning so we can all recover, you can rehydrate. So this concludes the outside portion, except for this small little pause we're going to do before we go inside.
Are we ready? On behalf of the University of Texas Board of Regents, I am pleased to officially accept the Center for Oral Health Care and Research as part of the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio.